Yo, welcome back guys to a new video today. I'm really excited because we're going to be going over one of my favorite resources for MapleStory currently at the moment. I'm a big fan of spreadsheets. I'm a spreadsheet guy, but even if you're not a spreadsheet guy, I promise you this is something that you are going to enjoy and appreciate, and it's going to help you with tracking your progress in-game and out of game. So I know that we have a Maple Planner now, but I promise you this website is amazing. So ever since I started playing MapleStory like 4 years ago or so, I've been using trackers for my characters, especially when the boss meal meta really started to kick off a couple years ago. And this is better than any resource or what would you call it? Google Doc or Google Excel sheet that I've used for tracking characters. This is the best one. Okay, it's totally free as well. I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. I think it's Devnir. I forgot. I know he puts it somewhere in there on how to pronounce it, so I'm so sorry if you're watching this. But this website is freaking fantastic, and we're going to go over it and all the details as to why. Okay, so I'm looking at it here, and you can actually log in with your Discord account, and I highly recommend doing this because if you connect your Discord account, it basically saves your information. So if you log in on your cell phone or any other device, it still has your data saved in the cloud and everything's there, which is fantastic. It is not like cache based in your own system, so that way it's just kind of floating there, which is a huge W. Now, we're going to go into this from the home screen. So if you're on another screen, you just click the little hamburgers up here, click on that, and then you're going to click on dashboard. Now, the dashboard is going to show all your characters for bossing. So I'm going to press select, and then there is a list and a grid, right? That's the way that you could do it. I like the grid. This is brand new. I do want to show really quick, actually, if you're on the main homepage, it will show all his updates that he's been adding, so you can see what gets added. And the newest thing actually was that grid view. So absolute W, one of the things that I really wanted. And at the bottom, we even have like recent MapleStory news, which is pretty cool, honestly. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard here, take a look at my characters. So what you do is you press edit, and you're going to go ahead and type in your character name. So I'm going to type in Ezra Vert, and then I'm going to press search for character image. Now, this is optional, but I don't see why not. You might as well do it. It's basically going to pull off the rankings website, like the official MapleStory rankings, and it's going to pull that image the same way Maple ranks. If you use Maple ranks and you see how your character appears, it's just like that. It's going to pull the character image, and it's going to update here in just a second. And there's an error too. It'll say down here somewhere that you usually have to do it more than once. So give it a second, do it one more time. You can choose your class and the order. This doesn't really matter, but this is the order that appears in the list of characters that I was looking at. So I just did my class, I did my name, level and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter. Then we're going to press save changes because we can see the character now. This is also new. If you want to do this, this is a daily symbol tracker. So you could set it up for arcane, sacred, and grand sacred as well for the new symbol. Totally up to you. What's really pog about this is if you're actually using this as a resource to track symbols, he does have a button here for edit symbols, and this lets you modifiers. Sorry, you can edit the modifiers and change. So like, let's say there's an event going on like right now where you can get bonus symbols. It's like plus like, I don't know, an extra like 14 symbols, right? When you max out the tree, you add this to the modifier for like Cernium, Odium, Shingala, etc. And this is pretty cool because then what the modifier does is when you do complete your dailies, it's actually going to change the amount of days that it's going to be for the level up. So don't forget to go back in here and remove the modifiers when the event is over. I just realized I reset my whole thing down here, but that's okay. So I realized my camera might be blocking a little bit. I do apologize. This should be fine here, but yeah, so these symbols here will tell you, it'll tell you how many days are left, and that takes into consideration the modifier based on the event bonus symbols, which is pretty cool, honestly. And then you can edit your symbols. You could place what level you're at and the current exact symbol count. I haven't touched this in like 2 weeks, so this is not actually up to date for me, but if you wanted to track symbols, you can. There's also a liberation calculator that works in here as well. So you can do what trace you're currently on and all that stuff. So like my Adele is liberated. So completion week, congrats, because it's done. Liberated, everything like that. It'll tell you your traces per week as well for Reg World and whatnot. So, and yeah, and then you can even check off your Black Mage. And yeah, it's super awesome. It's got a lot of things in one page. Now, I am on Reboot, so if you're on Reg server, this actually does work for Reg perfectly fine. You're going to click this cogwheel up here at the settings, and it's going to say default world type. You're going to change that to interactive or reboot depending on what server you're on. For me, I'm on reboot, so we're on reboot. Now you're going to see this over here, this meso overview, and you might be wondering why it already says 6.5 bill. This actually currently shows you how much money you've made from boss meals, not your expected amount, but your completed amount. And it shows you how many crystals you've sold. So I personally use this to remember in the week what I've done. So when I press, when I press select and go back to grid, you see there's a little check mark by my Pathfinder, my Arc, my Marksman. That means that I've already done these boss builds, and I've actually done my ice landing as well, so we can check those off. And as you see, look, I'll reset it, and then I press complete, and look at that, my count went up to 7.5 bill, because that's how much I've sold, and my crystal count went up as well. If you wanted to track your mesos, you could actually place how much money you have in here. So like, let's say I'm at 35 bill right now, so let's just say I'm at, a certain amount of money. Does it track it for you? Base meso amount. Okay, yeah, it does track it for you. So it'll tell you how much you'll have by certain weeks, which is pretty cool. So let's do like another 0 in there. So if I'm at 30 bill, in 3 weeks, I'll be at 57 bill, which is pretty cool. So keep that in mind if you do want to use that as a way to estimate how much money you'll have. It's a cool little calculator. So in 12 weeks, I'll have 125 bill for what's currently completed. You got to keep in mind, once I finish all the boss meals, that's going to change. All right, so we're going to go back to the Adele real quick here. And I just, for demonstration purposes, actually, let's do it on the Marksman because it's a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to press reset, and I'm going to remove all the weekly bosses, and we're just going to re-enter them. So let's say you've added your character. You want to track your bosses, so you can go ahead, press edit down here at the boss tracker. And keep in mind, these slots are the amount of crystals that can be sold. So there's 14 slots for the 14 crystals, so you'll know exactly what you're at. Now, I might be incorrect, but I actually think he orders them based off of how much they sell for, money-wise. I believe that actually might not be the case. I would need to double check, but if it is ordered that way, here, let me just check in game real fast. Okay, game's currently on maintenance, but to my understanding, this is basically order of prices. So this is an easy way to tell what bosses you should be doing if you're not like a normal sea slime meal, for example, or even a low man. So let me just show you this real quick. On my Marksman, let's work backwards. I always go backwards because of the crystal cap. So pick the highest boss that you can do. Let's say I'm doing normal Lomian. So we're going to do normal Damien. This drop-down box is going to show you for the amount of party members that you will have in your party. So I will go into that a little bit more on the Adele. So we're a solo Damien, solo Lotus. We're going to click normal and then normal Akechi, and we're just going to work backwards. We're going to click all these boxes until it blocks it, until we're out of slots. So we'll go to Sukum, Pink Bean, Hilla, and it looks like we can fit Sickness in there. Now, let's say I wanted to do normal slime. So we could take Sickness out and put normal slime in there instead, and that would fill it up. See, and it would be completely blocked out. So always work backwards from what you're doing is the best way to do it. So we've added those bosses. Now we can click on them individually. I don't do this actually. When I complete my weekly bosses, I open up the website or I keep it open and I press complete all and boom, immediate one click done. It checks them all off for you. Now on the Adele, as you can see here, I have party bosses. I take a friend for a carry for C10. So on my party for Vihilla and all of C10, I have it marked as 2. And then for Easy Kalos, we break up our static into 2 groups of 3. And then for calling, we'll be a 6-man when we get there, so we could do 6 when that time comes. And then I do 2s for anyone that I might carry, just so that way I can understand or get an idea of how much money I would still make in mesos. And I worked backwards, so that way I don't have to do more bosses. I well, I guess I don't need more secondary. So KTs though. Do Pinot still for KTs. So keep that in mind that you can't add more. So if you do need to do things like Pinot for KT, you're doing Crimson Queen and maybe Vellum for the souls, and you're out of slots, just kind of keep a note of that in game using the Maple Planner rather than this website. Keep this website is just for basically money tracking more of. It doesn't need to be like your Maple Planner exactly. Now, the next part of this website that I want to go into is the community tools. So they actually link everything that is basically used by most Maple players that use, online resources, which is amazing. And it's categorized. So we have the calculator websites like Wacky Beans and Math Bros, which highly recommend you can use to calculate WSE, hyperstats. It's min-max efficiency, which is fantastic if you care about it. Then there's a link directly to Maple Ranks. There's the Maple Scouter, Maple Maps, Grand Libus resources, the wiki, everything. Like, it is fantastic. All the resources that are compiled here. This is like the Maple Bible to me because it has everything you need. Your character tracker, your liberation tracker. It has access or links to every other website that's actually useful for the game. It's just phenomenal. Now, I also want to go into this next part, but I only want to do it a little bit because it is pretty in depth and I could spend like 30 minutes on this section and I really don't want to do that. So I just want to show you, if you guys go here at the top and you go to Gear Planner, you can actually set up presets for all your characters. So if you want to track what characters have certain gear, you want to see who has Golix, you want to see who has Absos, Arcanes, etc. You can do that. So you just click on the gear square and type in, let's say, Kana's Treasure Ring. Let's just say I have a Golix pendant. Maybe we have Golix earrings, right? We're doing all the superior stuff like that to track. Boom. So if you wanted to do that, you can. And you can also track your flames. You could do flame score calculator right here on the spot. So you could see that. Not only that, it gets more in depth. You can click on each individual item and set up the stars. So let's say it's like a 22. We can add our flame score here. So if you want to know your flame score, you could add it here, get the score, copy it, and paste it right here. Boom. And it'll tell you on the screen. We can make it legendary. We can select the potential lines. Look at that. This is incredible. And now when you hover over it, you can see it. It's fantastic. You see your pots, your stars, your flame score. It is a amazing gear tracker. It is just phenomenal. And there's tabs for multiple pages. There's so much depth to this. And I'm assuming, hopefully in the future, maybe there will be an update that lets you min-max these things the same way that Wacky Beats has, that type of calculator where you input your stats, it has your character pages, and then it's going to run calculations for you. Who knows? That sounds amazing. We'll have to see. But again, this is all I really wanted to cover for this section here because there's a lot of depth to the gear stuff. All right, last part of the video, just to go over really quick, I wanted to show you guys, you probably have already seen it at the top here, but we do have like the server time, how long dailies reset, how long your bosses reset, Ursus timer, event timers for when they end, and weeklies. This is phenomenal. This is like all the information you would ever need about the game in one rather than using multiple different resources together. It's just one. And if you scroll down, there's actually an event timeline that'll show you when the events end. So if you're ever like, oh, when do the events end? And you're not home, you want to check your phone, boom, it's here. It's got everything you need. It's fantastic. It's perfect. All right, guys, I have gushed about this website long enough. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this website helped. If you do plan on using it, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, share this video with a friend if it helps them out. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Take care. Have a great weekend. I'll see you this weekend for hopefully 5, 10, 15 on Twitch, twitch.tv/MikaVert. I will be tapping my pitch and hopefully not blowing all my stuff up. See you guys.